You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Adastra. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I smile and reach up, cupping at the warm, furry form. At some point along this little journey, I've stopped caring about whether the things I see are real or not. I'm just happy that I'm seeing him. He smiles down at me. Hey. Hey. I lie quietly in his arms for a while, just enjoying the comforting blue glow. I'm reminded of when I first met Amicus, when our ship stalled out in the blue dust cloud, when he'd finally revealed to me his botched plan. I feel so distant now, like it was years ago, rather than just months. I take a deep breath, and something about it feels strange, almost like something mechanical is moving in my neck. I reach up, touching my fingers to my throat, and for a moment they brush against something that feels like a thin line of flesh. But Amicus reaches down to move my hand away, pressing it to my chest instead. You're alright. You're gonna be fine now. What? That's also when I realize that my voice sounds strange. It still sounds like me, but there's something slightly off about it, like it's a little higher, maybe even just a little robotic. I frown. Amicus presses against my chest firmly, comfortingly. It's okay. I know it might feel a bit strange, but you won't even notice it after a few days. What is he talking about? Again, I lay quietly in his arms as I gather my thoughts. The fight, the dagger, the darkness, the parents, then I look up at Amicus and question. What happened? I try to ignore the strange, soundless mechanical clicking feeling in my throat, while also trying to get used to my voice. It's like hearing myself in a recording, just not quite right. Amicus chuckles, sounding exhausted, relieved, and maybe even a little sad at the same time. Quite a bit happened, Kyllian. But the parents, I thought they wanted us to meet them. Amicus's gentle smile wavers for a moment. Well, they did. I met them. What? I don't remember. I rack my memory, but nothing comes to mind. You lost consciousness when it happened. I frown at that, wondering why that would happen, but Amicus doesn't offer an explanation. I look down at my chest, and instead of the coating of blood I expect to see, I'm clean and bare, aside from a few small wet spots on my chest. Suppose Amicus had been a bit more emotional before I'd woken up. I look back at him, and press my face against his body, and he responds by hugging me close to his chest for a moment. So it's over? They decided to bring me back? My voice is muffled against his fur. A strange, not quite right voice. Amicus loosens his hold on me, allowing me to look back up at his face. Yes, it's over. The tension that I'd held in my chest ever since I arrived, ever since being abducted from my bedroom in Italy, it all releases slowly. For once, I feel light and free, and I sag in the wolf's arms, sighing deeply. Even now, I'm starting to get used to the new feelings in my throat. I love you. I love you too. I smile up at him, and despite everything being over, I can't help but notice that he seems a bit sad too. I rest a hand against his chest. You alright? Amicus laughs loudly, shaking my entire body. Aside from nearly losing everything I hold dear, I suppose I'm alright, yes. I try to sit up, but Amicus keeps me reclined gently but firmly. You sure? You seem upset. The big wolf sighs deeply, and I feel his torso puff out against my side and shoulder. There are things I must tell you, but later. It's not important right now. That tension that had been so mercifully loosened in my chest suddenly appears again, but in a much smaller way. I want to ask more, but for now I just want to rest. Well, as long as I'm not going to pass out and wake up completely confused again, I feel like that's all I've been doing the past month. Amicus huffs in amusement. Yes, you do have a knack for such things. We go quiet again, and it's a nice kind of quiet. We're both just basking in the peaceful aftermath of a months-long struggle. After a while, though, my wolf meets my eyes again. Kyllian? Yes, Amicus? I'm sorry. Sorry? For everything. For taking you from your planet. For involving you in Astran politics. For acting as if I knew better. Even if it was part of the parents' plan, it doesn't make it right. And I'm sorry. Plan? Amicus lets out a small, tired laugh, shaking his head. 1 second, y'all. It is indeed that time. It is water time. Very nice. Okay. Again, I'll tell you later. Let's just be together for now. I nod in agreement, ignoring the clicks on my neck, clinging to my wolf, happy to be in this quiet little corner of the universe, undisturbed by politics, mad emperors, or monolithic space entities. The following days are strange, to say the least. After what happened in the amphitheater, the Wolven population has seemingly taken great interest in me. I guess I'm sort of a celebrity at this point. I got my first taste of this while lounging in the dining room, only half paying attention to the screens when I realized that it's a reenactment of the trial by combat between Amicus and Cato. My character, portrayed by a small wolf wearing a rather uncanny human mask, jumps in at the last second to plunge the dagger into Cato's back. He's then stabbed directly in the throat by Cato instead of slashed, and stands for several seconds clutching his neck while Amicus tears out Cato's throat, then arrives just in time to catch me as he swoons back. I have to stop watching at this point. The memories of what happened too fresh and traumatizing for me to see played out, even if it's terribly acted out. I suppose it's nice to be liked by the general population. I can't help but feel it's for the wrong reasons. I'm definitely being portrayed as a noble savage of sorts, so in love with my master that I broke the rules to save him, or I just didn't understand the rules well enough to abide by them. Either way, it makes me feel kind of uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Amicus is kept busy, of course. The quiet moment I had with him in the archives is actually the last really long moment alone I've had with him since. Almost immediately after, Amicus is whisked away to various ceremonies and meetings as everything becomes official. Amicus is the Emperor now, and he seems to be taking to it rather well, especially after the incredibly stressful events preceding it. His personality has always been silly and a bit immature, but after taking the throne, he's taken on a persona of a cool, calm leader. It's a side of him that I've seen occasional flashes of, and while I'm happy to see him fitting the role so well, I can't help but feel a bit sad that he has to quash that playful, outgoing side of himself. I suppose it's one of those parts of having to grow up. I try to stay out of his way for now, knowing he has so much to do, but on the second day after the trial, I'm told by Calm that Amicus wants to speak with me. I open the door and immediately hear Virginia's voice, raised slightly in annoyance. No! Lux is the city in desperate need of funds right now. Lex is doing very well. Well, I'm sorry, but the names are rather similar, are they not? I meant Lux anyway. Even if you meant it that way, I can guarantee you the Triumvirates won't be pleased hearing you mistakenly refer to which city they are from. All right, calm down. I'll be sure to remember that. Don't yell at me in front of the Triumvirates, please. You only give my critics more weaponry if I'm seen allowing my sister to treat me in such a way. All the more reason not to make the mistakes, then. The two seem to realize that I'm here, finally, and cease their argument. Kyllian, we were just finishing our conversation. Were we? I'm going to drill you on all of this again on our flight to the city. Virginia makes her way past me, pausing to rest a paw on my shoulder. Maybe I should put you in charge of my brother's studies. At least he listens to you. The she-wolf rolls her eyes before disappearing through the door, leaving us in silence so that Amicus's big, heavy sigh seems to resonate through the entire room. God, she's relentless. Isn't that a good thing? I suppose, but it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. Amicus is walking towards me and immediately takes me up into a deep hug, followed by a kiss. I kiss back, feeling Amicus's tense body relax against mine, and I feel happy at the idea that I might be able to relieve his stress so easily. He finally draws back, smiling as he does. How have you been? I know I've been rather absent lately, but I know, official business and everything. I've been okay, just trying to adjust to all the new. I sweep a hand around me, then hesitantly bring it to my neck. The wound that the parents had somehow healed, my trachea and vocal cords have been replaced and repaired with something. I try not to think about it, and I've gotten used to it for the most part. Well, I hope you've been adjusting smoothly then. Amicus brushes a paw through my hair, looking me over. 1 second, y'all. Water time. What was it you wanted to talk about? Amicus pulls his paw back, and the look on his face starts to worry me. Is it about what happened with the parents? At this point in time, I know that something involving me happened while I'd been unconscious. For whatever reason, I've been kept unaware of the conversation that happened between Amicus and the parents. Amicus nods, rubbing an arm awkwardly. Yes, it's rather complicated, so it may take a moment for me to explain it all. The wolf guides me to the sofa, and we sit side by side as Amicus drapes an arm around my shoulder. Over the next few minutes, he tells me of the deal he made with the parents, that he'd submit himself to their will, if only to bring me back to life. It's a similar decision that I had to make, and I shake my head. I don't like that. Why are they doing this to us? Amicus shrugs loosely against me, shaking his head as well. I honestly don't know, but I can tell you that my view of them has changed quite a bit since what happened. So what, now you have to do whatever they say or something bad happens to me? Again, my hand drifts up to my neck, wondering if there's something more to the mechanics in my throat. An irrational part of my mind wonders if maybe there's some type of self-destruct mechanism built into it. I shudder at the thought of my throat suddenly exploding. I doubt that, but I feel that maybe they would make it difficult for us to stay together if I did. Our meeting together. It was planned by the parents. This is something I sort of assumed on my own, but I still bristle nonetheless. See? They're using our love against us. This is just fucked up. Amicus just nods quietly, but draws me closer with his arm around my shoulders. So they just draw us together? I was like the most compatible human to you, so now they can make sure we do as we're told so we can stay together? Again, Amicus is quiet, just holding me. I don't like this. Neither do I. So if your job is to bring the galaxies together, what's my job? Amicus takes another slow, deep breath, which only spikes my anxiety. I realize that the release I felt in the archive room was only temporary. In retrospect, I suppose it was a bit silly that I thought everything would be fine after Amicus became Emperor. This is only the beginning. Well, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I wait, feeling Amicus steel himself for what he's about to say, and I feel my anxiety grow. How bad could this actually be? Then he lets out the breath with a rush of words, seemingly trying to get the explanation out all at once. The parents told me that your mission is to begin the process of integrating humans into the Galaxius. I'm only starting to absorb that when Amicus takes another breath and starts another slew of words. They want you to return to Earth and complete a series of steps to begin the integration process. A process that will take... Amicus suddenly winces as though the words themselves hurt. That will take around 8 years to complete. That last bit takes the longest for me to comprehend. 8 years? 8 years? Like, I'll have to go to Earth for 8 years and do a bunch of crap to bring my planet into the Galaxius? Amicus nods, and I see the deep sadness on his face. This explains why he wasn't exactly happy after we'd escaped the parental dimension. I find myself at a loss for words, even though there's so much I want to ask. Amicus tries to fill the silence. Your planet won't be conquered or anything. Rather, you're already at a sibling-like level. You're unique in that you aren't exactly a sibling species, but you won't be under the control of another civilization, if that makes sense. Aside from the parents, of course. That's a relief, I suppose. Though the more I learn about the parents, the more I'm unsure about any of this. Well, I'd once worried about the wolves invading Earth. I'm not sure I want the parents to be doing the same. At least they're very hands-off, I guess. And the 8 years, will I be able to see you? I see the corners of Amicus's muzzle dip down deeply into a frown before stubbornly pulling back up. Oh, they often did when he was trying not to tear up. No, but I discussed with them those supplements that we take to extend our lifespans. You'll be able to take them to make those 8 years seem more negligible. The way Amicus is talking, fast-paced and upbeat, tells me that he's trying to make this sound like it isn't a huge deal at all. But it is. 8 years. The arm around my shoulder brings me into a full-on hug now, pressing my face against his chest. I know, it seems like a long time, and it is, but after that, we'll be free. Amicus's voice is strained, like there's a heavy weight on his chest. We both know we won't. And I'm gonna have to do all that alone? Couldn't you come help me? Now I sound like a child. I see Amicus's eyes glistening, but he stubbornly continues to smile. You won't need my help. You're fully capable on your own. Besides, we'll see each other again as soon as your series of planned steps are completed. Over the course of 8 years. And once we reach that point, we'll be able to finally relax and enjoy our lives. I'm still trying to absorb the idea of a years-long mission. A mission that involves introducing all of Earth to the idea of sapient life beyond our planet. That idea is harrowing enough, but after being strung along by the parents like this, I have to wonder. It seems like after we accomplish every step, there's a bigger one right after. I feel my heart rate pick up, but rather than becoming angry, I'm feeling kind of desperate. How much more are they going to ask from us? This whole thing is just puppeteering. We're not in control of anything at all. Kyllian. Amicus reaches out to me as I stand up. Please, I know this is hard. I've been trying to figure out a way not to drag you into this, but the parents seem intent. This isn't fair, though. We paid our dues. I fucking died. Again, I sound like a little kid. I can't help myself. This really isn't fair at all. I didn't ask for any of this. Originally, I had Amicus to blame. He was the one that brought me here in the first place. Now, though, knowing that everything was planned and orchestrated by the parents, I feel powerless. Like I didn't have any choice from the very beginning. I don't even have a say in this. But you do. I haven't gotten to that part yet. Amicus has his paws raised, and I can see that he's still trying to hold back tears. I want to lash out at something, but I know this isn't his fault, especially now, so I try to calm myself, taking a few deep breaths and swallowing hard. They told me that you can make a decision, just as I made mine. I'm quiet for a moment, still breathing heavily. You can choose not to accept the mission. I will not force you to do it. We have around 9 months before the mission begins. I stare at the wolf, letting those words sink in. And if I don't accept, what are the consequences? That deep frown returns to Amicus's face. Well, they won't provide transport back to Earth. Of course, I'll likely be able to set it up for you now, but considering that the integration will be delayed, I would be disallowed from returning to see you. So either I do what they say, or I never see you again? Well, you could choose not to return to Earth. I'm not suggesting that be your decision, but it is one of the possibilities. I look away, just feeling terrible. And the main reason for that is because I feel like I have to do this. Even though I know Amicus has his doubts about the parents now, I know he still believes in their end goal. And if I just give up on it all now, I need to go think about this. I'm starting to turn away when Amicus abruptly stands up. I think he's going to come after me, maybe wrap me up in another hug. Instead, he keeps his paws behind his back, looking at me with an expression of stoic duty. All right, I'll be heading out to the city for part of the day to visit with the Triumvirate, and whatever you choose, Kyllian, I will fully support you. It takes me a moment to realize that Amicus is using his official face right now, and it's strange to have him use it on me. Even though I know he's doing it to make things easier for me, to not sway my decision based on his emotions. I hate that he has to do it. I shake my head and turn away, walking out of the room even as I hear Amicus make a strangled noise as he cuts himself off and holds back from saying whatever he was going to say. I walk briskly through the hallways, trying to gather my thoughts. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and... Yep. Alright, guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. Or a tip if you can. Let me know how many more let me know how far I am from that ending. I am kind of curious. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!